Zady. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking the time to chat with me today and chat a little bit about your experience with the program and LLMP. Now, in a couple sentences, introduce yourself. Where are you located? What's your lifestyle? Are you currently home? Are you traveling? And some of your passions.
So my name is Zady, and I currently live in the USA in the state of Maryland, in actually the city of Baltimore. And I currently have a regular 9 to 5. I'm a software engineer, and I've been doing that for 20 plus years. I would say maybe 20, 22 years. So I'm sorry, what else did you ask me?
If you're currently traveling, like what type of lifestyle do you have,
Okay.
and some of your passions?
All right. So working my 9 to 5. My current biggest passion right now is definitely traveling. I think like many people, especially coming out of the pandemic, but traveling and experiencing new cultures, new foods, new things like that. And in fact, what kind of sold me on the idea to give LLMP a chance was it came to a point where I was limited in my traveling because of my 9 to 5, and that basically became my why I even decided to invest in myself, because I thought the worst that could happen is I lose a little bit of money that I'm already spending on traveling or anything else. That's it's like an experience, but it's not like true investment in myself. So part of that is wanting to stay in that lifestyle of like, I'm not necessarily like a full-time traveler per se, but I want to be able to have the freedom and the option. So working the 9 to 5 is just, up until literally last year, it was working fine until I ran out of PTO. And there was like no exception. There was no exception around that. I'm assuming the only exception would have been if I was like really sickly and I couldn't get up. But that was just kind of the wake-up call for me. So like I said, my passions revolve around food, but like not just food for the sake of eating food, but food that has meaning, food that has cultural significance. And the only way, I think the best way that you can really get that is to travel. So as far as like traveling on the big jets, that's not even it. I like to travel to experience the cultures. And I feel like with LLMP, it gives me the option not only to travel, but I actually even feel like I would have the option to travel and stay a while, and to really immerse myself in the culture, because I personally feel like that's what my life is like, that's where it's going, to living a life more of experiences than it is tactical goals of like achieving grandeur and achieving corporate success. It's more like, okay, I've gotten here to where I can even afford paying for such a program. What's next? It can't be continuing this lifestyle of this 9 to 5 where I'm limited by someone else's dream. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. And then would you say that those were your struggles before joining the program?
Absolutely. Yeah, because I when I travel, which is, like I said, primarily the reason for the 9 to 5 just not working for me anymore. Not only was it like the limitation of the PTO, but it was also like this uncomfortableness because of the work that I do. I couldn't just like really bring my laptop with me. I mean, I work remote now, like I work from home, and that works great. But there's limitations even in taking my laptop with me when I do travel, because, you have to like log into VPNs, you have to do all the security stuff. So it's like, if I'm traveling abroad, I don't want the company to all of a sudden there's some kind of a VPN attack, and now, like my computer's broken, this, that, and the third. And it's like with LLMP, I don't have that concern either, because it's my own computer, it's my own technology, it's my own whatever I want, whatever modality I want to use to create. I can do it on my phone, I can do it on my tablet, I can do it on my computer. So most people like look at me like, oh, but you already work from home. I'm like, I know, but I can't just work remote from anywhere, and I can't stay in another country with a computer that belongs to a corporation that they didn't allow me to be in, so this is, at the end of the day, this is their assets. Like, this is their computer. If I break it and it's abroad and somebody gets the information, like, I'm liable. So it's just it's too much pressure to even that part. Even if I had unlimited PTO, it would just be like, I mean, well, there's no such thing as unlimited PTO, but if I had enough PTO, whatever that is, it's the other part of that was when you're traveling and you're having to come back to like a stack of emails or like a stack of projects or their tasks, or you're flying home and you're like dreading that, like when you open your computer and you have all these emails or whatever it is. Whereas like when I'm traveling for myself, because I am traveling for the passions that I have, like traveling for food, traveling for experiences, while I'm working in that niche, it's just like, it's a no-brainer. It's like, if I'm already out traveling and trying the foods, trying the new places, and the places that I go to, I can like pick up clients. I mean, I think it's a win-win because I can then, whatever clients I might have on a regular, I can pick up new clients for a quick project while I'm there. Like, hey, I will, create some content while I'm here with your food for X amount, fee or whatever, instead of the free food that all these influencers do.
Nice.
So,
Sweet.
yeah.
Love that. And so the next question I have here for you is, what was most valuable to you in our program?
I think the two most valuable things, well, three actually, the three most valuable things for me so far in order of like value to me, honestly, is the concept that you guys have to help us find an accountability partner. And I know that the accountability partner relationship is the onus is on me to, and the person to create that. But I remember when I got to that part in the program and I thought, I can do this. I got this. I got this. And then I was starting to feel like maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I like bit too more than I can chew. And then I was like, you know what? They did say get an accountability partner. Jet mentioned in her video the success rate is greater. I'm like, maybe she knows a little something. And so when I reached out, I think if it wasn't for the accountability partner, opportunity and encouragement. And I mean, gosh, you guys, there's a whole channel on Discord for finding that. I think that's the most valuable to me. I would say secondarily, just the program itself, like just like I mentioned earlier, like just having, like I always keep thinking of like a box, but it's not like a closed box. It's almost like everything is in one place, so I can always come home. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, how did I do the signature? I want to change my signature. I can go back to that document and find that, So that's probably the second most valuable. And honestly, the last thing that I would say in that order is Discord. Like I've never been in a community like that, I've been in chat groups, I've been on Facebook groups and things like that, but this is different. Everybody there, I mean, I know that there's a little bit of like, lifestyle interaction, like, oh, here's a picture of my dog or whatever. But when I go there, that's not the first thing I see. When I go there, people are talking about their wins, people are talking about their struggles, people are talking about like, I'm struggling with technical things. And it's like, oh, I remember seeing that somebody was struggling with Upwork. And just it's awesome. I think it's really great to have those three components. And those three components honestly have been what have kept me like, all right, we got this. I'm not alone. Like even with my accountability partner, when I look on Discord, I'm like, okay, I'm past that. I'm glad. And it's very inspiring to see people that are coming in new and people that are like up here, people that are in the middle, and people that are like pulling in and out. It feels real.
Yeah, cool. And so what do you think has been your biggest accomplishment since our program?
Honestly, getting through module 1, because that was it took me probably longer than it should have. Not that I know that there's no real timeline because everybody's schedule is different, but for me personally, I knew I could have done it much sooner for me personally. And so having completed module 1 and launching my rocket strategy was like probably up there as far as like a personal milestone, because I never thought that I would be at that point where I sent that email and put myself out there. I mean, shoot, I reached out to you, I think, and Bianca, and I'm like, do you guys have anything to like help me, because I'm struggling like this, like, I cried when I got to that part, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I have to do it. And that was very, very challenging. So, yeah, that has been very invaluable to feeling like I can accomplish this. So
Okay.
that's a huge one for me.
Nice. Okay. Okay. And so at the beginning, what did you think about investing to join our program?
Like, what do you mean? What did I think about investing?
So at the beginning, before investing to join our program, like what were your thoughts about our program?
So I'll be honest. I even asked this of Francis, who was my onboarding coach. I said, "Is this an MLM?" You know, and I love that Jet addresses it in one of her videos. I think it was she did like a conference somewhere, and she kind of jokes and talks about people like not being sure what this is. And I was there. I was like, and I followed Jet's profile probably for 6+ months before she posted something about hey, I have like openings or whatever, and I'm like, I looked into a little bit and I hesitantly, did the scheduled the call, very hesitantly attended the call. And when I was on the call with Francis, I was like, oh, it's like it's not like it's just not like a chat robot, So I don't want to say I didn't believe in it. I say my first impression was skeptical, but I don't think it was the program that gave me that skepticism. I think it was just,
Mhm.
I participated in MLMs.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like fool me once, fool me twice, fool me
Yeah.
three
Yeah. Yeah.
times, So that's how I felt. But then once I talked to Frances and she explained, and I was forthcoming with her, and I said, look, I'm taking this call kind of like just to see what the heck, what have I got to lose except for an hour? And then when I committed, after talking to her, I was like, I've gone this far. What have I got to lose? I got this money to lose that I otherwise would lose doing other things that are not uh really like developing me. And I even told Francis, I'm like, you know what, if I lose this money, meaning like it's a scam, I said I came from a good place for me, and that karma's on you guys.
Yeah.
So it was that, and it was again my own projection of like my experience. So it has nothing to do with, I didn't know anything about LMP except for like following Jet's page. That's it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
didn't look at reviews because I did not want to be swayed,
Mhm.
because anybody can buy reviews, and that again, that was just my skeptical mind. So
Okay. Okay. All right. And so why did you decide to join us anyway in the end?
well, Frances like really answered my questions, and I didn't feel like she was beating around the bush. I really felt a sense of, don't worry. Like, I mean, she wasn't saying don't worry, but she was, instead of saying don't worry, she was giving me uh real information that I was like, okay, like this really is starting to sound more and more legitimate. And then, we kept talking about, well, why did you even reach out? And I'm like, well, because I'm tired of the 9 to 5. And I was like, I feel like this is what I've been looking at or looking for in a long time, whether it's through the university programs or whatever. I've been looking for something that's like a course, something that I can follow. Not just a bunch of information. And that's I think that was it, that when she explained the program, because I think
Mhm.
there was like a little infographic where she explained the program. And I was like, so everything's structured. She's like, yeah, and we take you step by step, every detail. And I was like, I'm a details girl. And I
Yeah.
love that that's how it is. It's very progressive. Instead of just here, go build your LLC, here, go figure out what your logo is going to be. It's like, no, I'm doing that. And so
Mhm.
that is what ultimately I was like, this is worth that investment for me,
Yeah.
is that structure of the program.
Mhm.
Hmm. And
Okay.
also,
Okay.
honestly, the other thing that this was the key thing is that I knew that after, the 90 days, I knew that after that part expired, I knew that I would have access to the program indefinitely. And I knew that I would have access to the community. And that was like a big, big selling point. Like that was like, when the 90 days is over, this is not over, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that definitely was the kind of nail in the coffin, if you will.
Okay. Okay. And so what if someone here is watching this right now and is doubting whether or not to join our program? What would your advice be to them?
I honestly would say take a chance on yourself. If you are afraid that you might lose the money to, something that you don't think you can do, I said give it a chance and invest in yourself, because that's really like something nobody can take away from you. is whatever you invest in yourself, whether it's the time to learn the stuff or the time to learn if it doesn't work for you. And either way, you've learned something.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. All right, Zady, thank you so much again for taking the time to meet with me today. I know that you've made so much progress in our program and have come such a long way. Honestly, we are so proud of you. And like, yeah, I cannot wait what the future holds for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much for being that persistent coach.